first week of the new year was a big one for our daily talk show, Barnstable This Morning, as we celebrated our first anniversary of bringing you insight and perspective on the issues that affect your life from the town's most influential public and private sector officials. Year 2 of Barnstable This Morning began the same way as Year 1, with a conversation with Town Manager John Klim. On Monday, January 3rd, the manager shared with us some of the big municipal issues and initiatives to keep an eye on in 2011.
The great unknown is whether or not we are going to witness additional reductions in state aid to local communities. That's totally outside of our control, and we just need to figure out what the state is doing and then try to work around it. Not only is it difficult to hear the message that there may be reductions, we don't necessarily always hear it on a timely basis. It could be as late as May or June,
right,
before we know exactly what the state is going to do. So that, poses a challenge in and of itself. We'll continue to live it within our means. We'll continue to look for efficiencies and consolidations where it makes sense. And so that is just an ongoing project, but a very important one, because the Town Council has made it very clear in their strategic plan that financial accountability and stability is their number one priority, and it is the number one priority throughout the entire town staff. The area of renewable energy I'm very optimistic about and hopeful that we're able, really ahead of many, if not most other communities, put together a town-wide plan so that we can recognize not only a conservation or a savings in energy, but also a reduction in the cost of energy. And we're presently working on a proposal at our town's solid waste facility. We have one almost completed at our wastewater facility, and are discussing the possibility of several other town-owned locations. And I think that could be a huge story if we can figure out the right formula that makes sense from a financial standpoint and from an energy conservation standpoint.
Speaking of green projects and initiatives, Town Energy Coordinator Richard Elrick joined us later on the Monday program to talk about a new grant opportunity through the State Department of Energy Resources. The town is applying for $200,000 in state funds to install electric vehicle charging stations in selected locations throughout town. It's part of an initiative to install 80 to 100 such stations across the Commonwealth.
What they're looking for are locations where it would be possible for people to park their electric vehicles for an extended period of time. I guess one of the things that would be helpful here is sort of mention the different locations that we've applied to get installations of the charging facilities. Bismore Park on Ocean Street, Town Hall, Barnstable High School, and Hyannis Youth and Community Center. And again, the DOER is looking for locations that are fairly centrally located, that are likely to be utilized for periods of up to 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would wonder about too is if we were to utilize these types of charging stations in the town of Barnstable, would we charge money for them? Would it be free? I can't really wrap my head around that just yet.
As the application was written, the plan is to provide the electricity at no cost during the first year, and then to look at the results to determine how well it was utilized, how much the electricity did cost, and then at a later point determine whether or not it continues to be in the town's best interest to provide those stations for no cost, or whether we perhaps could set them up in a way that would allow a debit card to be used, or like a traditional gas pump now. But the goal, at least from the beginning, is to provide the electricity at no cost, because, again, the point is to promote the use of the electrical vehicle as much as we can.
Richard tells us that he expects to hear back on whether the town is selected for that grant by mid-February. On Tuesday, January 4th, we rang in the new year with a brand new guest, State Senator Dan Wolf, who will join us every Tuesday at 8:40 a.m. Our first chat with Mr. Wolf took place just 24 hours before he was sworn in, so we took the opportunity to ask him about his mindset on the eve of such a big day and about his priorities during his first ever legislative session.
The whole issue of public trust and what it means to serve in our government as a public official is just it's really overwhelming, Nick. It's a very powerful feeling. I take it very seriously, even though I intend to do the job with adequate doses of both humility and humor. But I'm really looking forward to it. Take it seriously. Understand the responsibility of representing all of the people in the district. And we do have a lot of important issues, both at a statewide level and in the district, that I'm looking forward to getting the ground running on.
Yeah, and clearly it would seem that economic development here on Cape Cod is a big issue for you. So talk to us about some of the things that you hope to work on to make that happen.
We've been having meetings, and what we're doing next, structuring my office, is we're setting up advisory groups in a lot of different areas. One of the advisory groups, for example, in energy. We're identifying what economic development opportunities exist in energy. As you know, we built the largest solar project in southeastern Mass on the hangar of Cape Air's hangar here in Hyannis. And that type of project is really doable. It's kind of complicated from a bureaucratic standpoint, but we're going to look for ways to get energy conservation, efficiency, and small-scale renewable projects part of the economic development and growth opportunity going forward. Maritime opportunities, we've already met with our fishing group. I had one really good meeting, looking forward to more. How to protect the fishery, how to support our fishing industry, how to continue to develop and grow our aquaculture opportunities here in the Cape and Island region is really important. I think aquaculture has huge potential opportunity, and we also have a fishing industry that really we need to work with to protect and grow.
Throughout 2010, Finance Director Mark Milne helped us to understand the complicated web of dollars and cents that comprise the annual town and school budgets. On Thursday, January 6th, he picked up right where he left off with a discussion of the town's first disbursement of local option meals tax revenue that had been collected since it took effect last October.
Well, we got our first payment generated at just over $86,000.
Okay.
And that represented 1 month, the month of October.
I mean, that's a great statistic, and it bespeaks how much good that this extra revenue can do for the town over a 12-month period. However, overall, the DOR projected that in this month we would make substantially more than that, correct?
Yes, the DOR, in an attempt to assist communities who wanted to adopt this tax and use it as part of a general fund revenue source to balance their operating budgets, provided communities estimates based on limited financial data that they had in order to set their tax rates. And so they came up with these numbers or these estimates, and they're proving out to be overstated just about for every single community.
So then, Mark, what do you do as you wait for disbursements to come in? Obviously, this is going to be applied towards something in the town of Barnstable that will benefit its residents. So I think probably the first part of the question is, what would we use it for? And the second part of the question is, how do you anticipate a reasonable, how do you make a reasonable estimate to know how much we can actually use year over year?
What we plan on using it for in the town of Barnstable, first of all, is a funding source for our sewer expansion program. The good news is that we didn't use this revenue source to set our tax rate in our budget, our general fund operating budget, because we're not using it to balance operations.
Okay.
Our town council has dedicated this revenue source to help finance a sewer expansion program. So right now, we're not using it. Any money that we collect from it is going to go into a stabilization fund. So we don't have to worry about having a revenue shortfall to balance an operating budget or anything like that, because we didn't use it in that manner.
Remember, if you'd like to watch any of these complete interviews, full-length episodes of BTM are available to watch online. You can find them at town.barnstable.ma.us. Well, that's all for now. Everybody have a great weekend. I'm Nick Cortez, and we'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.